I.S.U.P.K would turn out cops that love black people, man.
Right.
Instead of cops that hate them and want to harm them. Everybody wants to hate black men. Everybody wants to treat black men like a criminal. Everybody wants to look at black men like the filth of the earth, except for Christ, who died for them.
That's right. That's right.
Now, how are you going to serve Christ and you don't love him the same way?
Right.
This is exactly what is being done to black men now. It's being done back in the 60s, man. And this madness got to stop. You know what I mean? And don't be mad at me. Y'all out there, I know how y'all thinking. Don't be mad at me because I love these brothers that I'm rolling with. Don't be mad at me because I love this I.S.U.P.K. These brothers done fought and walked with me in my darkest days, brother. When we lost brothers, when we had to bury brothers, when we had to fight against cops and against court cases and all manner of tyranny, when we was hated many times by family and friends and everybody else. These brothers stuck with me in the darkest of days. Right. And for that, I love every last one of them, man. Right. I love this I.S.U.P.K, man. And we had better spread that love and brotherhood all across the face of this earth, man. And it better shine above everything else. And Christ will recognize it, brother. And we will move on to greater days and a greater situation. Give me that next thing, my way. This cop, here's another example. This cop was about to set this brother up. Read the story, man. I'm gonna let you read some of it through. We're gonna go right to the scriptures on it too. Go ahead.
Exonerated after execution. A judge tosses a teen's murder conviction.
Oh, okay, we'll go there. Yeah, the other one with the weed in the back of the car. We'll come to this, but since you got it, go ahead. Now let me tell you something about this case. You got a picture of this by any chance, Soccer War? If you do, if you can pull up one, pull me up one. Let me tell you about this case real quick. This brother was convicted of harming 2 white girls and was arrested. He was 14 years old. He was arrested and convicted and executed 3 months after he was convicted. He was so small at 14 years old that to electrocute him in the electric chair, they had to sit him on 3 or 4 phone books. Right. The apparatus that go on your head was too big for him that it almost fried his head off. And brother, do you know 70 years later, show you how much of a monster the white man is. 70 years later, come to find out he was innocent. Read the story, Maya, please.
70 years after South Carolina executed a 14-year-old boy.
It's a baby. This is a baby. Go ahead.
So small, he sat on a book in the electric chair.
He sat on a book in the electric chair. Go ahead.
A circuit court judge threw out his murder conviction.
Threw out his murder conviction. Come on.
The judge vacated the decision against George Stinney Jr., a black teen who was convicted of beating 2 young white girls to death.
You're right. They charged him with beating these white girls to death. But meanwhile, he's 14 years old. Go ahead.
In 1944.
And in 44, when they hated us at the height, you ain't never going to be loved by the white man. If you, listen, let me explain something to you. If you read in Genesis, the 25th chapter, and the Bible says the 2 struggled together within her, why would you believe after they got out the womb that they would get along? They were struggling before they even took their first breath. Us against them. The angel told Ezra in the Apocrypha that Esau is the end of the world.
That's right.
And Jacob is the beginning of that which followed. And let me tell you what Christ said, and you better get this one through your head. Christ said, if you deny me in this wicked and perverse generation, then I shall deny you before my Father. You had better love black people over white people and what they're doing to them. And you had better not join white people in their hatred towards your own people. You had better not do that. Talk about some miscarriage. miscarriage of justice, man. Murdered this 14-year-old boy in the electric chair. And nobody cares. This was a white man electrocuted at 14. It'd be all over. It'd be a memorial built to him. It'd be a damn statue down there where you can go down and bring flowers to for it. Go ahead, Al.
Stinney's confession was coerced. At the time
of 14 years old, dragged in a police precinct in 1944. That's a lie. They didn't give him no ice cream. They gave him a nightstick on his head. Go ahead. Then they did him like Emmett Till. Go ahead.
At the time of his arrest, Stinney weighed 95 pounds.
95 pounds, and supposedly he killed 2 white girls. Go ahead.
Stinney had admitted beating the girls 11 and 8 with a railroad spike.
Right.
And
which, once again, the whole system with these cops is corrupt. The cops was the Klan back in the day.
That's right.
They still Klan.
That's right.
Like the Klan got smart. They said, let's stop trying to be an open society. Why should we walk around with white hoods on our head trying to march and recruit people to join us when we can simply become police officers and just join the police force and have legal authority? Now we ain't even got to fight our own government. We have legal authority to wipe out as many black people as we want. There was white men, we got a picture up in here. In the 80s now, in the South, you had white boys getting convicted of lynching black men, the 80s. They were lynching black men in the South and getting caught. The pictures of the lynchings is in color. We discovered it because one day we looking at the picture, right? And we say, this got to be a fake. We was like, why you say that? Because this picture's in color and he got on a denim outfit. He didn't have denim outfits back in, the turn of the century. And we went and looked it up and come to find out he wasn't lynched in the turn of the century. He was lynched in 1987. 1987. So come to find out they were still lynching us. This whole place is corrupt, huh? This whole place is built on the murder of us. Why don't you open your eyes? Why does it say when Moses went out to look down on his brothers that he saw an Egyptian killing a Hebrew? And he looked left and he looked right and he slayed the Egyptian. I'm not telling you to go out and do that. Don't nobody be stupid. But I'm telling you to let you know that that was the main thing that Moses saw, and it is what the Lord wanted you to read about 4,000 years later. Because the Lord, in all his magnificent mercy, knew that 4,000 years later, you would be in hell in America. And in this hell that you in America, you would seek a way out. And you would read about Moses and hopefully understand that your brothers 4,000 years ago in Egypt served under the same plight. Let me tell you a real quick thing right quick. You don't think you in ancient Egypt. You think about this for a minute. George Washington was the first president of the United States of America credited with winning the War of Independence. Famous, powerful. Why? When they went to build the monument for George Washington, why did they build an obelisk? Why did they build an Egyptian artifact as the symbol of George Washington? George Washington was a Freemason. And everybody running Washington at that time, Washington, D.C. at that time, and Philadelphia were Freemasons. You want to know what the real deal is with a Freemason? Freemasons, after you peel back all the lies and all the layers, Freemasons are a society of men that believe in Egyptian way of life. Why do you think they wrote a constitution where you have freedom of religion? Because they wanted it like Egypt, where you could worship all kinds of gods. That's what they're fighting against. America was not founded on Christianity, like I brought out last week. They were fighting Christianity. They were fighting the Queen. They were fighting the King of England. They was fighting them to have an empire that was based on Egyptian society. Washington, D.C. is designed as a necropolis from Egypt. You don't know something about the White House. Do you know that the White House is built, and I'm gonna get up off it quick. The White House was built in what's called neoclassical design. And neoclassical design of architect is architect from the 1700s that was revived as Greek architecture. And Greek architecture came directly from the Egyptians. So when you're looking at the White House, you're looking at an Egyptian building. You go right now and look up Hatshepsut's temple in Egypt. It looks just like any government building in Washington, D.C. Them pillars on the outside of all those buildings, them pillars come from the Egyptians. You see the way they got the grooves all the way around the pillar? That is an Egyptian style. Go back and look it up. It's Egyptian architecture. They were rebuilding Egyptian society. Why were they rebuilding Egyptian society? Because the Lord was putting you back in slavery in Egypt. Only instead of using the Africans, he used the white man this time. You were living in a prophecy, man. And just like ancient Egypt, Moses had to fight against them Egyptians that was trying to kill every brother they could find. And today, brother, these cops that's caught up under the white man is trying to murder every brother they can get their hands on. Give me more of the story, my God.
In an affidavit, Stinney's sister said she had been with him on the day of the murders and he could not have committed them. Stinney was put on trial and executed within 3 months of the killing.
Say that again.
Stinney was put on trial and then executed within 3 months of the killing.
Within 3 months of the killings. And let me explain something to you, the black people don't understand. Black people are used to never getting justice. So to them, most black people that see this tape and see me talking about this, it's not going to affect them at all. Right. But it would affect white people. If this was a so-called Jew and this story had come out, there'd be reparations, there'd be lawsuits. They'd be digging up the names of the people that did it and charging them with war crimes and different crimes. There'd be a memorial built to him. There'd be books written about him that'd be passed out in school and literature. His picture would be up in some so-called Jewish Holocaust museum. It would be made and it would have the words, "Never forget." Because they would take his life serious. And brother, they are not the chosen people of the Lord, and you are. And meanwhile, you done been desensitized to the lives of black people that get destroyed and have been destroyed for hundreds of years. You are the chosen people of the Lord. You must return to the Most High. Go ahead, my God.
Right. His trial lasted 3 hours, and a jury of 12 white men took 10 minutes to find him guilty.
10 minutes?
He
sat in the jury box and said, "Y'all ready? Vote. Guilty, 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 guilty." Went right back out, done. Killed that brother. They didn't even care who killed them white girls. They more cared about killing you. Right. Killing you. And they be talking about, that's why when all this hell broke loose about what the cops was doing to black people, it was burning me up every time I turn on the news. And before they criticized the cop, every news reporter and pundit said, I just want to say in the beginning that the majority of cops are good cops, but this situation is blah, 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 blah. Next pundit, come on. I just want to say majority of police officers do their job and they do it great. They put their life on the line, but blah, 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 blah. That's a damn lie. The majority of cops are criminals. Right. Majority of cops is murderers and self-centered bunch of pigs that join a police force to have power over black people and use it to every ounce of the extent that they have. The rarity is the brothers that walk away from that life and in exchange for helping their own people. Man. That's the rarity in that life. That's right. Let's go on. Give me some more.
He is often cited as the youngest person executed in the U.S. in the 20th century.
The youngest executed in the U.S. in the 20th century. Murdered this brother. Murdered this brother. Meanwhile, he never did it. Go ahead, Maya. Murdered. Meanwhile, he never did it. And the judge just now overturned the conviction 70 years later. Now listen, if you could find how the conviction was wrong 70 years later, you surely could have found it back then. Right. You surely could have found it back then. That's right. This is what goes on with us, man. This is evil as hell. Where are we going with this? Matter of fact, hold that script. You got one? Go ahead. Go ahead and read it. Go ahead and read it. I'm just rushing, that's all. Go ahead and read it.
Isaiah 59:14.
Come on.
And judgment is turned away backwards.
Judgment's turned away backwards. Instead of going forward, judgment's going backwards. In this place we live in, judgment goes backwards against us, man.
Right.
They increase and increase and increase more with misjudgment to us. They lock us up and lock us up and lock us up more with misjudgment. They turn their hatred and demonize us and destroy us more and more and more. Judgment is becoming, right now, let me tell you something, right now, you do not want to catch any case. Okay? Obey the law of this devil as best you can while living in this kingdom until Christ return, man. Join the I.S.U.P.K. We can get around a lot of things that you can't do on your own. We will help you with child support. We will help you in them court cases that you get in. We will help you with your prison situation. We will help you with your food situation. We will do these things. Why? Because these things are, here's what you got to understand. These things are in place to trap you and capture you, to destroy you. They put in place so you will break the law. Right. They put in place so you will be tempted to do something wrong. And then you fall into their hand. And let me tell you something, from going to court cases with brothers, okay? Brothers be going to court, brother. I be afraid. My heart be going this way. They on trial. My heart beating like this, and here's why. Because here's what's so evil and corrupt about the court system in America. The court system got a system of laws. They ain't no better or no worse than any laws in any country. They all, laws made by men. Right. And that's fine. The Lord said obey those laws. But here is what is underlying that don't nobody want to recognize. Underneath those laws is a hatred of black men. Now, what good is you having a court case where you bring in 12 jury and you tell them to weigh the evidence of a trial, but they can't weigh the evidence of a trial because they hate you, even though they don't know you. So when they go in the jury box, while they supposed to be looking at the evidence, what's in their mind? That dirty nigga. They all criminals. They all thieves. They all drug dealers. One of them robbed my brother. One of them robbed my sister. I hate that one that's on my job. You hate it. So now you get in court, you ain't did nothing. You done been wrongfully accused, but you fighting an uphill battle. Because not only do you got to fight all the evidence, you better hope that there's somebody on that jury that just don't hate black people, which is rare. And understand this, they love to bring out and say, well, it ain't right that the brother was had all white jury. I got bad news for you. In most cases, you're better with a white jury than a black. Because black people want to do what the white man says. Right. And the white man putting it out in the air to hate black people. Listen, brother went to court, right? One brother was in court one day. And you know how the lawyers get to question the jury before they accept them or dismiss them. And then the lawyer said to the sister, was a black woman. She came up and they said, how you doing, man? Blah, 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 blah. They said, ma'am, the lawyer said, my client is accused of committing a robbery. And he said, now, you growing up in black community, in urban community, I'm sure you see robberies as well. She said, yes. He said, do you believe that you could impartially, judge this case without putting your personal feelings in it? And she said, yes, I can. And the lawyer was good. And then the lawyer came back and said, and so how do you feel about letting a man go free that you believe might have committed a crime? And she said, well, to be honest with you, I don't believe I should be on this jury. And he said, why not? Now he had triggered something in her. And he said, why not? And she said, because I can't. She looked over at his client and said, I can't see letting him go I can't see him letting him go for a robbery. And she said, and the lawyer said, you mean let him go for a robbery? She said, yeah. He said, he's not convicted. She said, well, I'm just saying, I just can't see how. And he said dismissed. Because in other words, she didn't even know. He asked her, can she be impartial? She said yes. She didn't even know it's in her mind he's a criminal.
Right.
She don't even know that she done been brainwashed to look at black men as criminals. So even though she's saying to herself, I could be impartial, it's already in her mind he's a criminal. You understand? Black people are racist, brother, against black people.
That's right.
And listen, and black leaders is the reason for it. These black leaders, that old nasty Steve Harvey got up there and said that about slavery. Black leaders, old disgusting RZA, get up there and say, that's why you got to speak out against that. Because when they put that out there, black people watching that get brainwashed into thinking it's black men's fault all the time. And because of it, then they become the enemy. Remember now, the Egyptians was killing the Hebrews. Moses saw it and killed an Egyptian, and God sided with Moses. God used the same man to deliver the whole nation of Israel. Because even though it looked like black men is all criminal, even though it looked like black men is all wrong, even though they locking us up and killing us, the Lord sees beyond name.
That's right.
And the Lord sitting in the judgment seat, which means he weighed what is truly right. And even though the world see it as wrong, he weigh it and see this is not wrong. They are in the right, and these people are making them out to be the criminals. And brother, that is so much psychological warfare on black people. So now, real quick, you go to court, you thinking you be like, yeah, man, it's about 6 black people on the jury. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna work. Them 6 black people sitting on the jury, they looking at you as a criminal. And listen, let's say they ain't had no experience like that. Black people done grew up from a child learning how to serve white people, how to make them happy on their job, how to make them comfortable, how to be nice around. We always joke about how black people is all on their best behavior when they downtown. The minute they get off the train uptown, they ready to fight and argue with whoever step on their toe. But while they downtown, they opening the door and because they want to be loved by white people.
That's right.
That come from the brainwashing of slavery. So now you in court. You sitting in court, they on the jury, the judge white, the prosecutor white, the court officers white. They sitting in the jury, you the one that's on trial, even if there ain't no evidence against you. In their mind, they need to please these white people. So when they go back in that jury box, they sitting up in there, and while that white man is in that jury box saying, I think he should be convicted. We ain't gonna let another gangbanger or bank robber, get away with this anymore. Now that black person sitting in that jury thinking, I ain't see no evidence, but he right. And after a while, you going to jail. That's why Christ said, when you faced with that, agree with thy enemy in the way, lest he take you to the judge and you be, sent up. Basically what he's saying, because why? Not because you did it, but because you hate it. You're the one that's hated. And brother, if you want to serve Christ, you must break that spirit of Satan and love black men as Native Indian men, man.
That's right.
You must love brotherhood, man. You must break that bond. That's the only way you're gonna get the demon of America off of you, man. Is that it on that scripture? The what?
Isaiah 59:14. And judgment is turned away backward, and justice standeth afar off.
Justice standeth afar off. You ain't getting justice here, which is why you got to do like Christ said. The kingdom of heaven is within you. You got to go pull the kingdom of heaven out of you. How? By us doing what the Lord said, obeying his commandment, loving the brotherhood, learning these scriptures, and coming back to who we are. And that's how we push off that demon that's on them and rear up the kingdom of heaven, man. May I give me the next one. You got a little more going.
For truth is falling in the streets.
You hear that? Truth is falling. That's literal. Because we the ones in the street screaming the truth against such an evil force that hates black men, Hispanic men, and Native Indian men. Donald Trump, a presidential candidate, get up before the world and trash our I.S.U.P.K brothers as rapists are and become president.
Right.
Damn nigga. Who never even held a single public office, got no experience in running no government except the business that he ran himself. But he turned around and say, I'm gonna make America great, AKA subconscious, by getting rid of these Mexicans and dealing with these niggas, these rapists, these this, that, slugging for that. By doing that, that transmit to white people, and brother, they'll make you president. Then brother, that's this hell that you living in, and you must break it to get up out of it, man. Is that it?
And equity cannot enter.
So the truth gets spilled in the street, meaning the prophets got to come to the streets and rail against us. And thank Yahweh for raising up the prophets of the I.S.U.P.K. You understand? When you read this Bible, when I read this Bible and look at the captivities that we've been in, and I start to think about what if the Lord had not sent prophets when we were in deep brainwashing, crushed down under other nations, totally decimated as a people. What if the Lord did not send the prophets to help us? We would just be slaves until we became extinct. Every single captivity we've been in, and this is no different. That's why you should be taking off your gold watch and your gold earrings and throwing it at them brothers on the corner in the I.S.U.P.K.
That's right.
You should be throwing your money at, you should see they bucket out there, and you should dump cashes in that bucket, because if you understood the Bible, if you understood Yahweh, you would also understand the value of the prophets of the Lord, the disciples of Christ, in a day when everything is in utter darkness, man. You would understand that, and you would be thankful. You would be utterly thankful for it. I'm done. All right, come on, Mike. Give me the next one.
Cop tries to place handcuffed man inside the squad car with weed already in the back seat.
You dirty, stinking cops. You dirty, stinking cops. Like, you gonna do that to brothers, man. Innocent brothers who ain't did nothing, because you so angry at the brothers that do get away, that beat them cases or pay off some expensive lawyer because they doing some criminal act. You now go to destroy any brother you can get your hands on. Some of you are ambitious monsters, you cops. Some of you ambitious bastards that you will set brothers up. Let Mayat read the story. Go ahead, Mayat.
A Florida man is claiming, a Florida man said that police tried to set him up by placing him in a squad car with marijuana already in the back seat. Tory Fulton of Fort Myers said that after he was arrested for driving on a suspended license, Officer Arturo Gonzalez tried to set him up. I think I was being set up. I truly believe he planted those drugs there on purpose. The video obtained by the news station, you can hear Fulton tell Gonzalez there's drugs in the car. Now you want to put me in the car?
He want to put him in the car. Now he a cop. If there's drugs back there, he supposed to bag that up as evidence and charge the man he had in the car before him. Not take a suspect and put him in the car with the drugs unbagged, and you're gonna take him to the precinct. Go ahead, Maya.
And Officer Gonzalez responded with, I wasn't going to charge you with that.
And why did you leave it on the back seat of the damn car? If you ain't charging me with it, what's it doing there? Go ahead.
Fulton says he came forward because Gonzalez was one of the officers in on an arrest where a suspect was given a full cavity search in public.
Say that again.
Gonzalez was one of the officers in on an arrest where a suspect was given a full cavity search in public.
Man, let me tell you something now. That's why black men flip out when them cops come up on them. Right? Because what you don't know about it, once again, we know because we got ex-cops in here. And what we find out is cops doing dirty nonsense. Now, if you notice it's one of the cops that did that, you gonna be nervous he gonna do it to you when you get arrested. And this brother knew it. He knew that this cat, a full cavity search in public. That means made him drop his drawers and stuck his hand up his behind in the middle of a public street. Is what he did. These cops is monsters, man.
Right.
These cops are monsters. And until you separate from this bastard, the white man, and bring your nation together, we're going to always be stuck with these animals. How dare you not love the I.S.U.P.K. with all your heart and all your soul, man.
That's right.
The I.S.U.P.K. would turn out cops that love black people, man.
Right.
Instead of cops that hate them and want to harm them. Everybody wants to hate black men. Everybody wants to treat black men like a criminal. Everybody wants to look at black men like the filth of the earth, except for Christ, who died for them.
Right.
Now, how are you going to serve Christ and you don't love him the same way?
Right.
And he even said it. He said, through Paul, how can you say you love the Lord, who you ain't seen, through James SHALAM? How do you say you going to love the Lord, who you have not seen? And yet you don't love your brother who you see every day.
Right.
Once again, you can't forgive nobody for somebody doing something wrong to you. Can't forgive nobody. Hate a man for 20 damn years because of some small infraction that he did to you.
Right.
Can't go to him, such a weak faggot. You can't go to him and say, brother, you did me wrong. And I want you to straighten this out.
Right.
And you can't forgive him for it. How dare you, man? Go ahead, Maya.
Vulture said everyone knows Gonzalez is a bad cop.
Everybody, this guy famous for doing evil to black and Hispanic people, man. And Gonzalez is a Hispanic name. He might be a brother. Go ahead, Doc.
Everyone in the community, I can honestly say, is fearful of this officer.
They scared to death of this evil fight. Go ahead.
When he comes around. Vulture may have saved himself by noticing the marijuana on the seat before he entered the vehicle and saying it aloud. It's doubtful that anyone would have believed him after the fact.
If he had not said that out loud, it was doubtful that anybody would have believed him. If he'd have got in that car and not opened his mouth, they saying nobody would have believed him afterward. If he said, man, that ain't mine. That was in the car before I got here. He would have been charged with that. Don't tell me cops is good, huh? Don't tell me that. And don't tell me it's because of the unjust laws of the white man that they can't be right with brothers. That's another damn lie. It's the spirit that is within you. Either you got the spirit of the Lord or you got the spirit of Satan.
That's right.
One or the other.
Right.
And if you got the spirit of the Lord, you will love the brothers as thyself, like your king told you to.
That's right.
Go ahead, man.
That's it, sir.
Okay, where we going?
Isaiah 42:7. To open the blind eyes. To bring up. Isaiah 42:6. I, the Lord, have called thee in righteousness, and I will hold thine hand, and will keep thee, and give thee a covenant to the people, of the people, for a light to the Gentiles. Verse 7. To open the blind eyes, to bring out the prisoners from the prison, and them that sit in darkness out of the prison house.
Right. That's what Christ came to do. He came to get brothers out the prison house.
Right.
We don't have to be going to the prison house, man. Brothers that go out and sell drugs just don't know better. Right. Or they know instinctively this is wrong. I'm committing a criminal act. But they don't understand the gravity of it. Neither do they understand that it is a trap to destroy you. They don't understand it because they've been educated wrong in this world. And it is your job as a man of the Lord to re-educate them properly so that they can escape the trappings of Satan. So they can escape ending up in the prison house, in the graveyard, on the drug rehab list.
Right.
So they can escape these things that were set up to destroy. What do you think the Lord called you in the truth for?
Right.
And a lot of you, the Lord He's gonna deal with you, man. You ones out there teaching brothers to become rapists and all that, the Lord gonna deal with you, man. Because you wrong, you evil, man. You evil. Brother, come out the world and you teach him to do more evil.
Right.
You wrong, man. You wrong. In the eyes of Yahweh, you are wrong, man.
Right.
That's right.
Go ahead now, please.
Isaiah 49:24.
Come on.
shall the prey be taken from the mighty, or the lawful captive delivered? Verse 25. But thus saith the Most High, even the captives of the mighty shall be taken away.
The captives of the mighty shall be taken away. Go ahead.
And the prey of the terrible shall be delivered.
And the prey of the terrible shall be delivered. Meaning nobody would be able to get you out of this hell that you under this white man. You the prey. You the one captive under him. And nobody would get you out of this if not for Yahweh Shem Yahweh. If he had not left them records for us, if he had not put the Holy Spirit in the prophets of the Lord to come back and wake our nation up, we would never come out of this hell, man. Go ahead, Al.
For I will contend with him that contendeth with thee, and I will save thy children. Verse 26. And I will feed them that oppress thee.
Read that part again, Salam.
The last verse.
Go ahead.
Verse 25. But thus saith the Lord, even the captives of the mighty shall be taken away, and the prey of the terrible shall be delivered.
Read the next verse. Come on.
For I will contend with him that contendeth with thee.
Brother, I love this scripture. Read it again.
For I will contend with them that contendeth with thee.
We ain't fighting a war on our own footing. I ain't got guns piled up nowhere. I ain't got no guns piled. I don't got, I don't have an underground bunker no damn where. Okay? But I got other things worse than that. Other things more dangerous than that.
That's right.
And mainly what I got is the Lord. And brother, he gonna contend with them that contend with us. The Lord was on the side of them disciples and prophets for 4,000 years. And they raised up a nation in the eyes of the Lord. And he gonna contend with them that contend with us, man. Go ahead, Al.
And I will save thy children.
Read it again.
And I will save thy children.
That's what this is about. Don't give me no crap about some Holy Spirit trying to save some other nation, save some Chinese man. He don't need me to save him. He can't even speak English, and he makes $10,000 a week off the ghetto. He don't need nobody to save him. Right. Talk about saving some damn gook somewhere. Meanwhile, North Korea is scaring the balls out of the white man. Over there testing missiles, blowing up bombs, acting like a lunatic over there. They ain't got to worry about him. Okay? You Negroes running around talking about, we found out the I.S.U.P.K tribe, what are they called? The I.S.U.P.K tribe of Nigeria are Israelites. Bullshit!
That's right. That's right.
Bullshit! Okay? Don't tell me. Listen, I know who is the Lord. He got a gun to his head in the middle of the ghetto. That nigga I know is a man of the Lord. Tell me about some I.S.U.P.K tribe. Negroes always trying to find somebody else to love. Want to go over there and walk into Africa and say, see, these is Israelites. See the beautiful community and how nice they living. And look at their beautiful garments. They living like that because they ain't Israelites. The Israelites is in piss and in hell and starving and struggling and half out of their mind. And they need the presence of the Lord. Almost broke my damn phone with that nonsense. The I.S.U.P.K tribe. The hell is that? The Negro tribe. Learn that. Learn about them. Once again, everything wants to steal the love away from the 12 tribes of Israel. Paul said he had to keep on top of his body. If you ain't on top of your game, Satan is trying to seduce you every day to go against your own people. And to not love the truth and not love the Most High. You got to fight to not do that, man. You got to prefer your brothers over. The Bible filled with stories about it. Filled with stories about it, man. Every man, they tried to kill Moses. Tried to kill him. Okay? Christ go up on the cross. They shooting dice for his clothes. He tell the Lord, forgive them, Lord. Because these hard heads, paraphrasing, have no idea what the hell they doing. Please forgive their simplicity. You ain't got no excuse. You got the whole book. You better follow what the Lord said, and you better love a nigga.
That's right.
You better love them. You better love them, Rican. Beans and rice and greasy chicken and babies and Toyotas, goddammit, you better love it. You see them fixing a tire and 20 niggas get out the car, you go over and help them fix the damn tire. And them tribes are so brotherly, man. They so got the spirit of family and everything, man. You gonna be that way with the Lord's people. I gotta hurry up because I'm almost out of here. Come on, where you at? That's it on that? Go ahead.
Verse 26. And I will feed them that oppress thee with their own flesh.
They gonna get fed with the curses of the Lord when you return to the Lord. He gonna feed them with their own flesh. War is coming to the earth. Pestilence coming to the earth. I ain't even get to that mosquito that they scared to death of coming up from Brazil. I told you about it 2 weeks ago. They scared to death and they saying it's making the babies deform. And they love it too because that's just what they want, to genocide us.
Right.
They want to kill our babies off. So they love it. You think that they upset and worried about it? They love it. They glad it's on this way. They might have created it. Who knows? You ain't paying it no mind, those of you out there, because you ain't even thinking about what Planned Parenthood has been doing to us. Give me some more, huh?
And they shall be drunken with their own blood.
They're going to be drunken with their own blood, meaning their own killing, their own destruction. Their own evil that they did is going to make them drunk. And they're going to be dealt with by the hand of the Lord. I wanted to get that one in Chicago, man, but I think can we do it? We over the time now. You want to squeeze it? Let's get it in. One more. You got more on that? Okay. Finish that line. Go ahead.
As with sweet wine, and all flesh shall know that I, the Most High, am thy Savior and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob.
The mighty one of Jacob is our Redeemer. That's who's coming to deal with that. Can't stop the park midway. He disrupts the whole show. He got to say that scripture. You don't call him Shapar for nothing. Go ahead, man.
A group of 124 Chicago police officers has cost the city $34 million.
They got a gang of cops in Chicago. A gang. And this gang of cops, all they do is generate lawsuits for all the evil they do. Out of all the cops in Chicago, this 125 cop gang is the main ones doing massive evil to black people. So much evil to black people that they got to have a lawsuit, so many lawsuits, that it totaled $30-some-odd million. Read it, Maya.
In misconduct settlements since 2009. Unlike high-profile police brutality cases that have triggered federal investigations, most of the settlements involve less serious claims such as injuring arrestees during traffic stops.
Meaning they come to a traffic stop and beat the hell out of the brother in the car. It's a traffic stop. They drag him out and beat him half to death. Now they just shoot him in the damn head. But they beat him half to death. The brother go to court and they settle because they already know this 125 cops, they always do this. And do they fire them? Do they discipline them? Do they put them on desk duty? Hell no, they love them out there. They love them. Go ahead, man.
Making false arrests.
Making what?
False arrests.
$30-something million based on false arrests in one city. One city. Go ahead.
And using racial slurs.
Right, racial slurs. That's the Klan. Like them 125. That's the Ku Klux Klan. Right. Get out the car, nigga. Get on the ground. Such and such. Beat the hell out you, and then you go and get the lawsuit. The problem is, what happens when they murder you? What happens when they put a bullet in you? What happens when those things happen? Black people, you better separate from this place, man. You better remove your spirit out of here, man. Give me some more, Maya.
The lawsuits largely have escaped city council scrutiny.
It escaped. The city council don't even hear about it. Go ahead.
Because the settlements have been at or under $100,000.
So they keep the settlement low because they know black people poor. So black people will take 50,000, take 20,000, and they close the case, and it never reached City Hall. Go ahead.
Also, the Tribune found many of the incidents didn't occur in high crime areas, as union officials have argued, and officers were rarely disciplined.
Let me tell you something. That's amazing right there. Meaning they paid out, so you can understand. They paid out 30 some odd million dollars in lawsuits, mostly in low crime areas. Meaning the only people that's actually suing them for beating the hell out of them and dragging them out the car is white people. The 34 million is the white people. Could you imagine what they doing to the black people? The 34 million is white people suing them, because white people will sue. The high crime areas, they beating the hell out of Jakes and murdering them, and guess what? They ain't suing anybody.
Right.
They ain't suing anybody. Brothers, sisters, wake up, pay your tithes, support this truth, stand with me in this work of the Lord. Let me spread this gospel across the earth. Do your part and back me up and support this truth. I'll see you next time live on the UPK.
I want you to stay strong in the spirit of the Lord. Hey, listen, if you like this tape, hit the like button and share it, man. Hit the share button. Everybody share it to their own personal Facebook accounts. Share this video, man, to wake up brothers and sisters all over this earth. Hit the like button. Check me out Monday night. I'm live every Monday night. I bring the heavy hitters in. We do it up live right on this same channel. I'll see you then.